right, in this RH Jam, we'll discuss how we get stuck on habits and endless loops and ways that we can go beyond our mindset, besides finding that perhaps we are much more than our personal paradigm. And to talk about this today, we've invited independent consultant and intuitive Klara Fischerova. She's going to be sharing a very important way in which Reconnective Healing has influenced her life as she's now navigating this new global situation. And we will also share with you an exclusive clip from a meditation that we did this past Sunday on our gathering, and we are actually pulled it out and we're going to represent it back to you this Saturday. All of this coming up in today's RH Jam. And hello again. And if this is your first RH Jam, my name is Ana Clavell, and I am the presenter of this amazing weekly program in which we get to talk about reconnective healing. We don't only to talk about reconnective healing, we get to talk about topics that are important to you. And you are so generous with your suggestions, your commentaries. Every week we get tons of these, and I'm thanking you deeply because that's inspiring. What are the subjects, the topics, the themes that we cover in this program? As we know, reconnective healing is an energy-based approach to healing and inner transformation that can be learned by anyone and everyone and requires no steps to follow. And one of the things that it brings into our lives is instant personal paradigm shift. I know for those of you who may not have tried reconnective healing yet or have interacted with these frequencies, that might sound a little bit out there, but I promise you, to all of us who have come in deep contact with these frequencies, transformation is instantaneous. Thank you to these amazing frequencies. This topic and so many more happen here on a weekly basis, live in this program. And I'm going to ask you that if you feel that you really want to be part of this family, the best thing you can do right now is go ahead and subscribe to this channel. Subscribe, like this video, like our videos in our channel, and remember to share, because when we share these videos, we are not only making this conversation about reconnective healing such an easier thing to do, we are also allowing these frequencies to touch more and more lives. And from where I'm sitting, the world really needs this right now. I want to welcome everyone in our chat room. Well, hello and hello again. Lexi, Alexandra, and Cecilia Sands, who are helping us here with the chat. Welcome Emma, Esma, and Sally, Abdullah. Welcome Dagmar. Welcome you all. Oh, we have Jillian Fleer. Hello, Jillian Fleer. That is amazing. And we have Patrice Vester Janig as well. Silka, welcome. Tokaya. Hello, Anna. Momo Music and Soren. Hello, Soren. Soren, I sent you a message. I expect you to answer it. Ha ha ha. Oh, I'm not singing you out. I just wanted to say hello. And, you let me know where you are. Aha. Hi, Soren. In any case, my dears, we are going to start talking right now about what is that we are so stuck sometimes when it comes to changing our personal paradigm. And here we go. Topic for today coming up. All right. So this came from one of you, this question. Why can't I change my personal paradigm? I think that it is a very, very topical question, given that right now, again, like we discussed last week at the Jam, we are possibly finding ourselves with a little bit more time to think about life, the universe, and everything, right? To paraphrase Douglas Adams there. And one of the things we may be finding is that we have habits. We have habits that perhaps we don't even notice. We have ways of thinking about things that perhaps we just taking in our stride as we've been in our little constant get up, go to work, drive a comb across your head. Wow, that's now two references to other people. I don't know where they're coming from. I'm going to keep up with them. If they come, they come. So if you find yourself like that, in a moment like this, you got to wonder, what is it that I'm doing, not doing, that is not letting me move past a personal paradigm? Maybe you feel that there's a blockage. Maybe you feel that there is a wall, a glass ceiling, as sometimes we have called it too. Where is it that you are looking beyond but feel that you're stuck over here? And it really starts right there with your mind. It starts with our mind. It starts with the way we think, with our mindset. Where have we acquired these thoughts, these mindsets? We had a wonderful guest in our Spanish Irish Jam, Ellie Rudnick, who is also a motivational speaker, and she said, we end up writing a book for everything in our lives, like a little manual. This is Anna when she cooks. This is Anna when she washes the dishes. This is Anna when she's walking down the street. Oh, look, Anna is going to go into the restaurant. And there are all these little manuals that we kind of like go through and refer to whenever we're going to engage in a particular type of activity. And sometimes it's even when we're going to engage in a type of thinking. And that is truly such a great point to make. We end up having all these little mindsets to distill down that describe who are we, how we behave under this circumstance. For if you do A, go to B. From B, if you do C, then you need to go to D. It's like a constant hopscotch of how to react and how to work out through our entire interaction with ourselves and with others. So when we are a little bit feeling stuck in this, and I want to show you this one here. Yes, well, I like this image because it does show you how the brain and the mind is truly encapsulated, where there's a whole new elsewhere and everything that is just there. But within the boundaries of the mind, how much we can perceive of that is pretty much limited to however far we can take any type of mind training. And even that, I gotta tell you, and this is my personal experience, I find that pretty limiting. And I found true freedom through reconnective healing. But we'll talk about that in many other ways. But what we're talking about, the possible changes, is like, also you have to think, what is it intellectually that you do recognize you need to change your thinking about this, and you can just not break away from the habit of it. So, Dr. Eric and Jillian often ask on our Catalyst programs, is it not so much maybe that it's wrong and you want to change, or maybe it's more like you want to change, and it's a very different concept, because here you are, perhaps, eating too much sugar is not good for you, or the way that you are, something as simple as brushing your teeth, there's something here that perhaps is not the better way of doing it, but you're still doing it. And you got to ask yourself, do you really want to change that paradigm, that little book about yourself, about your habits? Or is it just that you want to do it? And in a way, you've fallen into a comfort level with this habit, this mindset, in which you can almost convince yourself most of the time that there's nothing really worth changing about it. We're so good at contradicting what we really need to do. We figure out ways. So the question is, we change when we say we are done and done. And now do we change when we say we are ready? One of the things is that we really, when we look at this, we may have just simply become very comfortable repeating the loops. Maybe we have, like I said, we have developed this relationship with these loops and these personal paradigms that then do not allow us to really stay too long in trying to look for change. Change can be scary. Change is the unknown, and is one of the things that you will find at the core of a lot of our fears, is the fear of change. And sometimes maybe we're telling ourselves, better the devil you know. Because again, that fear of what that change may bring. So here we are, we're saying, we know we need to change this. Well, I am so ready to change that about me. And then we find ways to stay exactly where we are. I mean, it may go for how long can we stay in a meditation? How long do we continue on with a mind training program we sign up for? Do we need support? Is it something that we can do it by ourselves and in our own, under our own directive? Or is it something that we just find excuses to just walk away from? And seriously, change is does not need to be so hard, does not need to be this impossibly to surmount fear. Because when we're looking at what a paradigm is and we start thinking that we have experienced everything, along comes somebody like our guest today, Klara Fischerova, that her life path has been fairly clear for her entire life. She's followed her instinct and her soul and her calling and her as a seeker. And yet, in her experience of reconnective healing, she discovers something that may be true for us as well. Maybe it is that we don't know what we don't know. And it's not until we are exposed to it that something happens. And then that paradigm shifts within us. So she's going to be sharing with us her experience of mindset shifts and reconnective healing and how that, came into her life. But first, I want to say hello again to the chat because I see a lot of activity. I see the out of the corner of my eye, I can see this coming up and down. Jillian says, elsewhere in anything sounds like energy, light, and information. Well, ma'am, yes. Absolutely correct. It is energy, light, and information. And Soren says, we're not here to conform or here to create. That's a really interesting statement, Soren. I really love it. We are not here to conform or here to create. Interesting. I think that's something that we can definitely discuss. We should make it like a topic of another program as well. The quality of life says, good rhetorical questions to think about. Yeah, well, thank you. But listen, guys, before we move on to welcome Clara properly, we had an amazing Reconnective Healing Global gathering this Sunday. And Dr. Eric and Jillian guided us through one of the most poignant, powerful meditations ever. I am not a meditator, but this meditation had me. From the moment they started, it was just a oof of the frequencies. And because we know some of you were not able to attend, we are re-premiering it, just the meditation, this Saturday. And I'll give you instructions on how to access it, because it's going to be a little bit different this weekend. But first of all, I want to share with you a little clip of it.
Now gently allow your hands to hold still in place. Observe the feeling of the frequencies now. Now do they change? Can you notice them building? Notice that even with your hands still, there's movement in them, because it's not about the movement of your hands. The frequencies themselves are dancing and playing with you. So keeping your eyes closed, when you're ready, slowly allow your hands to rest, maybe on your lap, on your legs, wherever is comfortable. For me, I'm resting my hands on my legs and my palms are sort of facing one another. They're not actually up or down right now.
That's right, guys. you need to subscribe to the YouTube channel in order to know when this premiere is going to take place, or send me an email so I can give you information on how to access it. You know, we're trying something really interesting this time around, and I think you're going to dig when you see the end result. So just play along with us. And Soren is saying that what he meant, we're here to create. Thank you. I love that clarification. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And guys, without further ado, let's welcome Klara Fischerova. Hello, Clara. How are you?
Hello, my dear. I'm great. I feel so special. Thank you for having me.
You know, it was, to me, it was more like a moment of inspiration. It was like, as the question came in, I was saying, okay, this is going to be interesting. How are we going to put this together? It was like your name popped up, and I thought, oh, okay. Again, it's instincts. Instinct is so important. Like, yes, as we have here somebody already letting us know, Arch says how to listen more to our instincts. That's how we do it, Arch. We just allow for everything to part and let this voice rise. And Clara has quite a few stories about this. So, as I explained to people here, and I explained on Facebook, Clara is somebody who has always known her path. She is a seeker. She practices modalities, and reconnective healing just came into her life. And it's one of the stories that it's like, it really has to be told to be believed. So, Clara, tell us a little bit more about this.
You know what? Just like today, when you invited me to this, I didn't know what it was about, and I said yes. So, my boyfriend invited me to Costa Rica to the retreat, and I didn't know what it was. You know, I asked a little bit. He has been studying Reconnective Healing for a while, and I never felt called to it. But when he said, you know, we are going to have this retreat, and then I asked him a little bit about it, you know, so what are you guys going to do? He said, like, well, it's going to be more experiential. It's not like teaching, it's not like a workshop. So I was like, yes, I'm going. And he was surprised. He was surprised because he saw me saying no so many times to this, you know, and this time I was like, I'm ready, let's go. So yeah, it was beautiful. That's the instinct. And I had no idea what I was going into. I had no preparation.
The preparation. Then, oh, sorry, go on.
Yeah. And then it was one of the best things ever. Like, I was so lucky to be there. You know, it prepared me for the situation right now. Like, it was amazing.
I don't want to interrupt you. We have a little bit of a lag. So, okay, so I am going to jump in and say that I had the privilege of being there with you, Clara, and I saw a transformation that was truly inspirational, not only to me, but to everybody else. Because you truly came in knowing peripherally about reconnective healing, but not being the person that were, like you said, that were that was not something that was calling to you. Yet things started to happen to you and for you the moment that we started. Do you want to share what happened in Costa Rica? Share a little.
Yeah, well, first of all, like when you come with people that are connected to the frequencies, like you feel it. It's like you are bathing in this loving, gentle energies, right? So it's like frequency bathing. So everything was just flowing beautifully without much. I don't know, like there was just flow to everything. So there was no like having to run, prepare anything. Everything was working beautifully. So that was the very first experience I had. And then there was a big experience that I had, which was when we were doing a set of exercises. Like we were diving in with the frequencies a little bit, and I I got to touch one of my big blocks, or one of my big fears and lack of confidence that I had, which was like I felt I was a failure as a mother because I gave birth to my daughter with a C-section. So I tried to give a natural birth, and I had to give a birth with a C-section. And so, so I didn't have like any idea like what we are doing, but suddenly like I was like taken to that experience, and I could see a separation between me and my daughter, and I could understand why we were having, why we were rubbing at each other at times and having conflicts, because I saw her, and not just her, I saw her and all the medical professionals separate from me, kind of like the opposing people, like opposing force, or the other, like what was shown to me was like they were the other. And so I could understand that that's where our conflicts were coming from. Like I literally saw her and the doctors separate from me. And so this was a huge epiphany for me, because, I couldn't finish my medical school because I didn't feel connected with the doctors, and I always had this pull to holistic medicine, and always saw them as the other, So there was lack of trust, lack of cooperation too, like collaboration. And so beautifully, I was taken, or somehow like the frequencies just guided me to one of the beautiful doctors in our group. And she is an amazing obstetrician and and amazing human being too. And so here we were in this tropical country and close to the beach. And she stood there, and I was guided to go to work with her. And we were literally just standing with each other in the atmosphere of each other. And she was being the atmosphere of her, of who she is, connected to the frequencies. And I stood in front of her. And as I stood in front of her, I stared at her dress. She had this like beautiful seashells and seahorses and like beautiful like sea motifs on her shirt or her dress. And she's just a beautiful woman. And there I was like standing in front of her, and my heart was just opening and opening, and I was crying. And as I was opening up, I actually had to step further, and the space just opened around us. And I was able to make peace with the allopathic care, with all the medical establishment, and I was able to allow my daughter to be one with me, to be close to me. And so when we came back, my daughter would be in her habit still, right? So she was in her habit still, like how we would get into some conflicts, right, and disagreements. But because I changed, like I became more loving, I became more accepting, I became more inclusive, I became less judgmental, less protective, I became more open, more allowing. So the dynamics between us started shifting. And so that was huge. That was a huge gift, I didn't know I was going there for that. But for me, that's one of the biggest gifts I could get from there. because that's something, like my daughter is so important to me. Like she's, my first child. She's one of the most important teachers for me and beings for me. So being able to be loving with her and accepting and connected, it's a beautiful, beautiful gift. So one more thing that I wanted to share, actually, today I was listening to Dr. Joe Dispenza, and this is what he said, and I think it's so fitting for this. You can't be the same personality creating a new personal reality. And I think that's what happened there. I changed my personality. I became a more loving mother and woman. And also self-love, I accepted myself. I saw how the atmosphere, or how the divine brought these doctors to help me during my surgery, to be there for me, to help assist me and my daughter. And that's the part of the divine. Like, it doesn't mean I have to do it by myself. Like, there are all these beings that are part of the divine that show up. That's what it is. It's not that I failed because I couldn't do it myself. So yeah, huge growth for me.
And I love how you discovered that this whole separation was a matter of your perception and a matter of fears, right? And as we undergo all these fears, it was like a mindset was in there. And to that point that you cannot create a new paradigm for yourself unless there is a change that comes from you, because you end up repeating the same patterns. So you cannot go enter the river at the same spot twice because the water has already moved on. Let me ask you then. So one of the things that also stays with me, and I recall when you shared that experience with Dita Bomanauza. I hope that we can convince her to come on the program. A wonderful doctor, gynecologist, and how amazing that it was a gynecologist obstetrician as well, right? Who was there when your conflict had been directly with that type of medical doctor. So we have a comment here. We have, Jillian says, each of us has our own connection with the Reconnective Healing intelligence that reveals our aha. And we have also from Cecilia, yes, it was a divine connection during the birth. I think these are beautiful, guys. Beautiful. Lexi adds, Reconnective Healing opened you up. Less protective, more open, allowing. A wonderful gift, a gift that keeps on giving. Now, I'm going to share with everybody here that as I mentioned, Clara she's an intuitive, she's a seeker, she's been on this path her entire life. And she is somebody who has her own careers, and things have happened to her in that respect as well with Reconnective Healing that has shown her potential that perhaps she wasn't even aware she had, or had refocused you in a different way. Do you want to share a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. Okay. Okay, let's take the lids off, right? So yeah, I do like this intuitive journeys, like shamanic journeys with people. Right now, I focus on conscious entrepreneurs, so really like going deeper into our self-love and self-worthiness, and connecting to the field. We are able to unblock many things, right? And so I have been doing that for a while, like really undoing some trauma that was mostly like ancestral trauma, or maybe some trauma from this life or past life. And so mostly like ancestors are showing up in my sessions to bring some sense of completeness, right? And to release like this conflict between people, this fright, this grudges that we hold, and this limitations. And so since I went to Costa Rica, I started exploring Gene Keys from Richard Rudd. And the sessions became deeper and they are becoming more spiritual. We have often ascended masters showing up in the sessions. And, actually last week, we had this like beautiful session on Jinky 25, which is about, we are learning about like, what does it take to be human? And in this session, actually the birth trauma showed up. Very similar. Birth trauma showed up, like when we come out of the womb, we come out of one environment into, we are in the air, the lungs have to fill up. And it's kind of like connected to what we are experiencing right now. I really am starting to believe like there is like the new birth, kind of like we are rebirthing ourselves. We are in the womb right now. And I think that's why it's also connected to lungs, And so what was showing up was like this can be experienced, this birth can be experienced as a traumatic experience, and we don't want to get out of the comfortable womb where everything is taking care of us, and it's comfortable and we don't have to deal with anything, right, with things that life throws at us. So in this session, Jesus showed up. And we were also, like when we are setting the session up, people were also saying that there has been betrayal in their life right now. Like they felt betrayed in many ways. And so what showed was that we will experience the sense of betrayals. Like there's just like Jesus said, like one of you is going to betray me. It's like whenever we are stretching, like we are becoming a new personality or we are reinventing. That's what it actually communicated. Whenever we are reinventing ourselves, like sometimes we don't want to do it. We don't want to do it graciously and following the instinct. Like sometimes we hold back, right? Like we don't expand naturally. We hold back, and so we have to get the sense of betrayal and being kicked out of the comfort zone to reinvent, to experience a new rebirth, new resurrection, kind of. So that's what has been happening. A lot of ascended masters and a lot of connection to galactic family actually has been showing up in the sessions. So, that's very new. I'm not a galactic kind of person. Like one of my biggest fears was imagining to fly in a rocket ship to another planet.
Oh, wow.
And now I'm experiencing it in my sessions and I'm kind of like getting ready for it, and it happened already 3 times. I'm like, okay, that's not a coincidence anymore.
So there's been some sort of expansion. Would you feel on your own experience of how what you're practicing? And I just want to remind everybody here that Clara is not a reconnective healing practitioner. She practices. She's being called a modern day shaman. And she's an intuitive, and she's sharing with us today something that has really shifted in her personal paradigm since she became so deeply exposed to these healing frequencies of reconnective healing. Somebody tells us here, actually Jillian wrote really beautifully, you're a spiritual doula. I love that. And there is a question for you, Clara. Did this affect this interaction with these frequencies, the way that they've come into your life, has it affected your quality of life?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So let me share maybe. So right now, I live in Slovakia, I live in Slovakia, and we were together in Costa Rica with my partner, and then I got home just in time before everything got locked. And so now we have been apart from each other for a month. So he couldn't fly here. I hope that soon he will be able to fly here, but we have been separated. And so, you know, you would think that that would kind of affect us, you know, but just, you know, like as I said, like this rebirth, like I rebirthed myself. I gave birth to my daughter in a new way, and I rebirthed myself when I came back, or when I went to Costa Rica. And so I'm calm, you know, I'm taking it with a lot of excitement. Actually, I'm excited because I have time to go within. I have time to focus on my work. And another shift that I had is that I can do more fasting. Like I am able now to go deeper into my fasting. And so when I fast, I also connect better to the energies when I do my sessions. And so before, you know, I was a chocolate addict, and I would fast a little bit, and then I couldn't wait to eat again. And so now I can go on actually for 3 days easily, and it's supporting my work, you know. So that wasn't possible before. So I feel like I am definitely at a new level in my quality of perception of life, you know, how I perceive life. Oh, and then other thing that I noticed was, I shared it with you before. There, you know, I remember that I felt like this when I was a child. So I felt this softness that I have now, like since I was around you people, connected to the frequencies, so now I can perceive them as well. So I remember that that's how I felt when I was a child, and I was connecting with nature, and there were like these things, you know, that I thought as a child, like, okay, like I'm just pretending, right? Like I felt like I could command the wind a little bit, right? I could predict when a leaf would fall, when the wind would turn. And just the other day, I went outside. And okay, so this could be total coincidence, okay? But it's about the wonderment, and it's about the playfulness, it's about the innocence, you know, that I can perceive again. So my big ball that I sit on, I don't know what you call them, the big ones, you know, that you sit on. I was going to sit on it outside, and it was windy, and the wind took it into my pond. And, you know, it took the ball to the other side, and then it was like flying from one side to the other in the pond. And I thought to myself, like, wouldn't it be cool if I could call the ball to me and it would come straight to me? It was like, that would be freaky, and I would love it. And guess what? Put my hands out, and the ball came towards me directly into my hands. And before, it was going like zigzagging in the lake. So magic can happen. I don't know if it happens again. It happened back then. Maybe I was super connected. I will test again.
You know, you put your finger right on it. You're super connected, and that connectivity isn't. It's like an instantaneous communication that's happening. Was it really you asking the ball to come to you? Was it the ball that was wishing to come to you? You know, and both desires met, and it actually was the same thing. Perhaps that's how it works. We really don't have answers to these things, but magic? Come on, magic should be our middle name with Reconnective Healing. It happens. It is part of how beautiful that it brought you back to your childlike experience of the world. That is truly something. And you were saying before about right now you were specializing more in the conscious entrepreneur. What are the things that people come to you looking for? I mean, what have been their mindset? The mindset now that we're in this moment around the world.
Yeah. Mostly people come actually for money. They want to make more money. They want to make more money. And then they realize, that in order to make more money, we have to become more authentic. We have to become more confident or less fearful. We have to connect to our special talents, to our magic, and lose the fear of being visible and lose the fear of giving the magic, offering the magic to others, So that's what we do. That's what we do, They come for money and they become a new human and they love their life, So they come out loving their life, they make more money, they reinvent themselves, and they have a more joyful experience. So, it's a magical connection, and they feel called to me just like when I was called to Reconnective Healing. It's an instinct. It doesn't really matter like what I say. Like they come and they feel like, okay, let's try it out. And I actually have a free sessions like once a week or twice a month. We connect depending, when we have a course going on, then it's not every week, but right now we are meeting every week to learn how to become a human. And it's a free gathering, so people feel called to go there and they go to the next level. We work on the ancestral blocks. There's a lot of trauma around money, like honestly, especially with heart-centered people, because they don't want to feel like they're taking advantage of somebody or that they are not good enough. That kind of stuff. Yeah.
So I love that, in many ways, there is this experience of what's happening with these people who come in thinking that they want one thing. Instead, they receive exactly what needs to be happening in their lives. I hope that you can come back and let us know maybe in a month and 2 months time if you're noticing a change in these people as well, now that you are really in this atmosphere of reconnective healing, And again, I remind everybody, when Clara is talking about sessions, she's not talking about reconnective healing. She is not a foundational reconnective healing practitioner. But she is very much in the atmosphere of reconnective healing due to her very deep experience in Costa Rica. Since she's read the book as well, and there is something in her that just clicked for her. So, my dear, we are about to run out of time, and I would love for you to share with us a final exhortation for all of us.
Okay. When we were in Costa Rica, there was one amazing exercise that we did connecting to nature. And it is really something that is important for me, that we understand that whatever businesses we create now are created in harmony with nature, that we clean up our environment, we connect authentically with other human beings, and that we all expand together, that we all expand in love and in harmony. I don't want to say in sustainability, in harmony with our earth. And the next level is in harmony with cosmos, with the cosmic family. But first we have to clean up our own act, our own personal life, our earth, and us as collective, so that we can be at the level of the galactic collective. So Yeah.
Or even
Hope that serves.
multidimensional collective, because there's this galaxy, and how many more galaxies out there, right? What can I tell you,
Yeah.
Clara? Lexi says, please come back and share with us the changes you've experienced in the atmosphere of Reconnective Healing, dear Klara Fischerova. So there you go. The invitation is out there on the floor.
Thank you.
Clara, what a pleasure, what a joy and
Appreciate.
privilege to have you in today's program. Thank you so much.
Thank you, dear. So good to connect with you. It's awesome.
Always. Mm.
Love you.
Love
And say
you.
hi to Jillian.
Jillian,
Mwah,
she's
to
right here
everybody.
in the room. She's seeing you.
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you. What a
Thank
gift
you.
you are. Like, I really appreciate you. And really, this is biggest gift that I could get this year to prepare me.
To prepare
Thank
all
you.
of us. And thank you for being someone who's willing to share. Because in sharing, these frequencies can touch so many more lives. Thank you, Clara. Mwah. Ciao.
Mwah. Ciao.
And guys, as I said, wasn't that a beautiful in-depth conversation we've had? I'm looking at your comments. Ambia says, full loving yourself is to return to your best self. All will change as you allow it to receive. I see that through myself too. Beautiful words. Sally says, that's beautiful. Clara, thank you for sharing your experiences. Yes, and thank you, Sally, for being here as well. Thank you guys for being part of this amazing team. And Soren says, Soren, you had a great comment. This really seems so multidimensional to me today. You know what? So true. I don't know about you guys, but reality, what we call reality, really, I think those walls are starting to thin out. The more we allow to be in our instinct, that we are allowed to everything, for the everything that is to come through, the more we realize that the walls that are in place are really fictitious. They're just a device to help us, I don't know, stay here? I don't know. I'm just putting that out there. Has been my experience in the last few weeks. Plus intensity of the reconnective healing frequencies. That is something that so many of you have mentioned. Guys, I gotta let you know, we have several things coming up, and I gotta share with you right now. We have yoga on Saturdays, and here is another amazing way to interact with the reconnective healing frequencies. We're on the second Saturday of out of 4 Saturdays. Still time to join. There is an amazing link I've left here for you in the description. Join. And as I said, this amazing meditation is coming on Saturday. It's entitled Walking Between Worlds. It's a 30-minute meditation. So guys, come prepared. Bring in your yoga mat or sit yourself comfortably, because it's half an hour. And it's this Saturday. To view it, you need to be subscribed to the YouTube channel or email me for a link to register, all right? I also want to remind you that we have our weekly Solomon study group. You guys have been asking for it for years, and here it is with Dr. Eric and Jillian every Wednesday. It's going to be 4 weeks as well, where on second Wednesday just happened. You still have time to join. You get the replays, and then you continue on with the group. Every single moment, every single time spent on the Zoom call where you get to see everybody else is priceless. Guys, and I have to tell you, I'm not going to finish the day without 3 things that you can take away with you when we are talking about the core issue of our mindset, and it's how to bypass our mind. So guys, within Reconnective Healing, it is as simple as becoming aware of the frequencies, aware of them tangibly, wherever they blossom for you, within you, around you, becoming aware of them, and then observing, noticing, and experiencing what this awareness of the frequencies brings to you. It may be anything. It may be a thought. It may be an image. It may be words. It may be music. It may be something completely unexpected. Or like Clara mentioned, it was a moment of recognition that the others, in her case, the obstetrician, the doctors that separated her from her daughter, were not in the opposite end of the spectrum. They were helping her. It helps us being in that observing, noticing, and experiencing frame to actually understand so much more. And we understand it not cognitively. We move beyond that because what we're actually doing is listening and paying attention what is coming through us. And that is the voice of our instinct. And through an instinct, that superpower of certainty is to know, yes, I am taking this next step, or no, I don't need to do this anymore, Because if you're, like I said before, if you really are done and done with trying to control your thoughts or trying to move past your mindset, if you're ready for your personal paradigm shift, then really, I gotta mention it again. The portal is there for you. This online course, we designed it to be just to take it and just easily just sit back, relax. It's like you would do a meditation. Sit back and allow the information to pour in, because it not only comes through your ears and your senses, it comes via energy, via the light and information. Because guess what, guys? It was encoded in every frame of this course. And the proof is in the pudding. How many of you and how many people have written to let us know the instant changes and transformations that happens from just watching the portal? They're not even trying to do anything. They're not trying to heal. They're not trying to transform. It just happens by in this interaction with the frequencies of the Reconnective Healing bandwidth. And I want to thank everybody here on the chat. You guys are on fire. Seriously, I love it. Shamanism chooses being like a child has maybe helped me the most, reclaiming my innocence in a way, going back to a sense of what feels like childhood in my adult life is being beautiful. It is without price. It is that new world that we're talking about, that new person that Clara is finding and describing, that it's if we can come back to be that childlike experience, to be that person, that is actually being in our instinct. And when we're in our instinct, we are all we really are. So guys, it is that moment in which I have to say goodbye. I want to thank again Klara Fischerova for taking the time to be with us today. She was awesome. My eternal gratitude as well to Lexi, Alexandra, and Cecilia Sams for helping out here with the chat. I want to remind you that we are gifting the first hour of that portal. Yes, it's yours, and there is no commitment. Just if you haven't seen it, if you haven't taken a moment to experience the portal, here's the link. And if you have had the experience, share this link with people who will benefit, because everybody who interacts with these frequencies receives the transformation, the healing that they need. And I want to invite you to next Thursday's RH Jam. We'll be right here at the same time. And I wish you all a beautiful, calm, peaceful, evolutionary, and filled with paradigm shifts kind of week. Much love. My name is Ana Clavell, and this has been the RH Jam.